Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us here. I have a special interview here with a friend, David Dusek. He is the leader of Rough Cut Men Ministries, and we know each other in a peculiar kind of way. Both our sons actually went to kindergarten together. Now they're in their mid-20s, and that was a long time ago, right?
Yeah, they got kids and everything now.
That's right. But he's got a great ministry, goes all over the world. He's getting ready to go to Australia. He's been there how many times, Australia?
This will be my 22nd trip since 2015.
Amazing. He's been doing a lot with the military, speaks a lot to men. And so I thought, boy, I wanted just to give a minute here to talk with him and get acquainted with his ministry. So, David, tell us a little bit first about your family.
Wow, I've got my wife, Joni. We've been married, it'll be 20 years next year. We've got 5 kids between the two of us. They range from, we got 32, 31, 30, 29, and 26. And we have just added our 3rd grandkid to the mix as of 2 days ago. So
wow, congratulations.
Yeah.
I have 2 grandkids too.
Woo!
So we got to catch up
too
on
young
this
for that.
sometime. I know.
Come on.
That's right. Well, the name of your ministry is called Rough Cut Men.
Yes.
So tell us, where did you get that name? And then give us a little bit overview of your ministry. Like, what are you doing in the ministry there?
Well, I would love to take credit for the name of the ministry, but 100% of that is my wife. And it's not what you think it is. You would think that rough cut would be rough and manly, and that's not what it is. It's actually a movie term. A rough cut is actually the first unedited original version of the film before the sound effects, before the editing, before any sort of overview work is done. You get a rough idea of what the movie is going to look like, but you don't see the finished product.
Gotcha.
And we draw a parallel to Philippians 1:6. It says we're confident that he's going to complete this work that he began in us.
Mm-hmm.
And so one day we use movies as our vehicle.
Yes.
My wife said, we really need to come up with a name for this ministry. And so she started Googling movie terminology, and she was in the other room and she cried out to me. She says, "Hey, how about rough cut men?" I'm like, "I don't even know what that means." And she said, "Well, here's what the rough cut is." I said, "Perfect." And It's been called that ever since. It was just an accident. But we use Hollywood action movies as parables for men, basically. And I'm a one-trick pony. My job is to help men connect and forge the unbreakable bond of battle-ready brotherhood. But I use movie clips as the parables by which to do that. And so I come into your church or I come into your group, and I use a combination of Hollywood action movies, biblical truth, a little bit of my personal testimony, and some strategic breakout discussion times to accomplish that laser-focused mission to get men connected and talking about what's really going on.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Give us a story of like some cool things that have happened. Maybe a story of redemption. I'm sure you have so many, but tell us a little bit about some of the things that have happened in your ministry.
Well, we have a multiple focus when we're doing stuff with men. So I address friendlessness, isolation. Then we dig into father wounding and soul wounding. The words that we've heard that have formed who we think we are when really it's not who God says we are, but maybe a mom or a dad said things that we've carried with us through our whole life. Deal with prodigal kids quite a bit, marriage, relationships, and then it will segue into legacy building and ultimately relational reconciliation. And I was just in New South Wales, Australia in July, and there was a guy in the room who'd never spent a day in church, and he had been invited to this event, didn't want to be there in the first place, which I think most men who end up at men's conferences for the first time get invited by somebody else. They didn't necessarily have that on their agenda. And he had walked away from the church. He had been soured. He had some church wounding, basically, at this point. And it turned out that it was the first time he actually wanted to be there. And when the guy that brought him asked him what he thought of it, he expected to be kind of blown off with this, "Oh, it was good." This guy said, "That absolutely changed my life.
Wow.
And I want to go to church with you this weekend." And then another guy at the exact same event had a prodigal son of over 18 years. And it turned out that God convicted him that the problem wasn't the kid, the problem was him. And as God continued to root into him and dig out these wounds that he had caused in his son, not the other way around, he ended up reaching out to his son, and an 18-year fractured relationship with a father and a son was restored. So
amazing.
That's just like in the last couple. That's like the last couple of months. So God always does crazy stuff, and I just stand back and get to watch him work.
That's right. And that's the whole story of the Bible. When you think about it, from Genesis to Revelation is the one big story of redemption. And that's what God's plan is for all of our lives as we give our hearts to Jesus Christ. He has a way of changing things. And sometimes, as we talked about earlier, not always the way we think things are going to happen. But God does crazy thing like calling two guys that never thought they'd be in ministry to go in ministry and do things like that,
Yep.
you know. But God's amazing like that to redeem what's been lost. And we pray and hope for whoever's watching and listening that He's doing that for you as well as you put your hand in God's hand. One last thing here. How can people get in touch with you and learn more about your ministry?
Our website is www.roughcutmen.org. And since I figured people might miss it, I also own the roughcutmen.com.net.org. So you can find us any number of different ways. Everything is on there, from the books that I've written, the video series that we have, how to contact me, our event schedule, because I may be in a town somewhere near you because we travel the world. All that stuff is right there on our website at roughcutmen.org. You can also follow us on all the socials at roughcutmen as well.
And how can we pray for you?
Right now, we just had a brand new grandbaby, so we can obviously pray for that. Personally and professionally, I embark again on our 22nd trip to Australia coming up, and I pray that God gives me the same kind of stories that He did the last time we were there, of restoration, reconciliation,
Yes.
and long-term marriages and fathers and sons being reunited again.
That's so cool. Hey, remember to pray for him and his family. I'm Tom from Salt and Light Ministries, and we hope this has been a blessing to you. Have a blessed day. Thank you.